right now?
About to grill.
Okay.
Oh, wait, like grill like what? Like burgers? Like hot dogs?
What?
Are you about to grill like burgers and hot dogs?
I'm about to grill kebabs. What's up?
Oh shit, bro.
Oh,
okay.
shit. This is Richard and Michael from the podcast. When are we called?
When Straight Meets Gay?
Oh, wow, yeah. I've heard you guys.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, dude. Oh, I'm sorry you're about to grill. Like, sorry to hold you up, but we just wanted to talk with Trey Melton, at the Trey Melton.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is what a treat.
So look,
Yeah. Oh, wow.
we're about to record the Friday the 13th thing, man.
Oh, you are? Nice.
You're nice. Oh, but we knew you weren't going to be here, so we thought it'd be cool if we just did a real quick intro, and then we'll record it with you, and then we'll edit it on.
Isn't that
You
cute?
guys are the sweetest.
Dude, we're recording you so good right now, dude.
Recording this.
Oh, we're recording right now.
Have you met us? That's all we. Richard just
What's
starts.
up, y'all? Hey, I'm huge fans of you guys. I've heard
Oh, dude, thank you, man. We're huge fans of you, bro. Like, you're killing
this
it,
is
man.
crazy. Is my mom listening right now?
Yeah,
Mom?
dude. No, we have your mom on the show right now. Hey,
Oh,
Trey,
crap.
baby.
Mom, hey, I'm in North Carolina, and I came to see you, and it's your birthday today, and you're
Oh
not even
no, I'm
here.
in LA partying with When Straight Meets Gay people.
Holy crap. A lot's changed, Mom.
Anyways,
Dude, thank you for picking up the phone, Trey, taking some time out of your celebrity, to join us and do this intro with us. Thank you so much.
we miss
Yeah,
you, Trey.
I miss you guys.
Come
I miss
back.
y'all, too. We're gonna I'm gonna see y'all as soon as I get back. So
Yeah. When you get back, dude, we're gonna do some episodes.
definitely.
Because
We're gonna rage hard and rage long.
Yeah, we're gonna rage real long.
and real hard.
All right, dude, you take it easy.
Happy
All right, guys.
Friday the
have
13th.
fun.
And happy birthday to your mother.
Happy Friday the 13th and happy birthday, Mom. I love you.
You're welcome, sweetie.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Enjoy the show, everyone.
All right, peace.
All right, take her out.
Peace. Peace.
Can't stand that fucking guy.
I don't fucking hate him. Hey, we did
I
it.
just hear a bunch of people talking. I don't know who they are.
Well, 3 of them you've worked with on a movie,
Oh, okay.
and then you guys know me, and then the only one person you don't know is Richard. But Richard is my co-host on this pod. Well, there's another co-host, but he's out of town, so you're gonna get just the 2 of us, and we're just gonna have a fun conversation for like 30 minutes.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right, let's get this bad boy started.
All right. Well, thank you first of all, everybody, for joining us and for going through the first round of telephone glitches and all the clicks that we had. But yeah, thank you for taking some time and talking to us about your amazing legacy that is Friday the 13th.
Which still to this day like holds up true. So
Yeah, it still packs a punch.
It sure does. Yeah.
did you ever think
And
that?
that's thanks to those 2 guys you have on the phone there.
Well, you had a small part in it as well, I think.
Manfredini, the master. Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's do that first. Let's introduce the amazing people. Let's have you guys introduce yourselves, though, the people that we have on the line here. First, whoever wants to go first.
You go first.
Hi, I'm Tom Savini. Who do you want to be, Adrian?
Sean Cunningham here.
You can be Sean Cunningham, all right.
I'm Harry Manfredini.
Perfect.
And you can be... There you go.
Can I be Victor Miller? Is that cool?
Oh, sure.
And I'll be Betsy Palmer.
I'm going to channel Betsy. Let's channel
Perfect.
Betsy.
Betsy'd be
Yeah.
perfect.
Aw.
I would
All
love-
Betsy, you will answer all Betsy Palmer questions.
I-
And Victor and I will just sit and listen to you talk for the next hour.
All Betsy's.
You guys are
do
funny.
miss Betsy, though, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
I do feel like she's with us whenever we're at the conventions.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I want to personally thank all 3 of you. I've been blessed to know you all over the last, I think 3 or 4 years now.
At least.
Yeah, since we've done the film festival. And I wanted to say thank you so much for the three of you taking time out of your schedule to be a part of this podcast. My friend Richard and I, and then Trey, all met on a movie and we got along really well. And we decided we would try our hands at a podcast, and we've been fairly successful so far. We've done 5 shows and we're about to release 6 and 7. And then as this special one as well, our Friday the 13th reunion. What is it?
I said, whoops, it's on us now, guys.
No, you guys are great. Don't worry.
All right.
Don't worry.
All right. So I bet you must have a question you want to ask us, or do you just call us to see what we're doing?
Well, I mean,
That's pretty much what the podcast is. Like
Yeah.
we usually just get together and just
sort of talk.
have conversation and just go for it. Obviously, the questions we usually try and let those happen like organically, but with this kind, with this movie in particular, I know it's probably you've been throughout all the years you've been asked the same questions
I
over
can't
and over
imagine
again.
people don't know anything about Friday the 13th after 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like that. Like with this, we wanted to just talk with you guys and then see with Friday the 13th how everything has seeing how everything has become what it is today, and a video game that just got released, and you have all these massive sequels that follow. What is it like today, living in the current day and looking back upon all this and knowing that you guys had a hand in creating this universe?
That's a good question.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Ladies first.
Thanks, Harry. Well, actually, I was just going to turn it over to Victor and ask him what the fans would, I think, really want to know, and that's what's the future of Friday the 13th. We were all involved in this wonderful little perfect storm, as I like to refer to it, back in 1979, and it speaks for itself that it's still around, and it's certainly here to stay. But what's the future, Victor? And I think you might have insights into that.
I'd have insights if I knew what the results were going to be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have no idea and can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, silly question.
I won't know until the federal judge in Bridgeport, Connecticut, comes up with a solution.
Well, we certainly hope he'll speed things up.
Well,
Victor, I think you forgot that when we started this out, Betsy was actually Sean Cunningham, so you have to remember who's answering and asking these questions.
yes, I do.
From beyond. From beyond, she's looking down and saying, okay, Victor, spill your guts.
I have no clue and no guts.
I have a question.
I'm sitting here totally powerless. I've done, made my statements, did my what do you call it?
Your due diligence.
Due diligence.
Due diligence, yes.
I didn't do due diligence. I answered a lot of questions from the other side, and they said their thing, and I said my thing, and it's up to the federal judge.
So now we just wait. Is that it for the future of our?
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's legally termed due diligence.
It certainly is, Ollie.
Due squared, due diligence squared.
I have a question. I don't know if this has ever been asked in all the panels that I've been to. I've never heard it, but what is one of your favorite movies from? One of your favorite moments from the movie, or memories that you have?
From actually filming on the set?
Yeah, just something that might be personal to each one of you, like something that, a moment that you had with the film.
For me, it was just when I first showed up and drove up there with with the other counselors, with our group of nubile counselors, as we were referred to in one review, that it was just such an incredible feeling of anticipation, of excitement, of this could actually, be something extraordinary, or we may not finish it because it was so low budget. That was. I was very excited, and so were all the kids, as we were at the time. We were just, actors that were just getting going, and we were just, very excited at the potential, at the possibilities, and to look back on that now, full circle, and have gone through all of the moments on the set that were tough, but there were highlights. There were so many of them. It's hard to truly pick something out because there were really some great moments on that set with Betsy and with Kevin, and just we became a family very quickly in that camp. There was no choice.
It must, and in that respect too, it must have once all these, once all the your family here, once they all started getting killed off in good old Friday the 13th fashion, it must have been pretty crazy to see all that happen, see all the the makeup effects, and see everything kind of culminate. Must have been pretty crazy.
Well, you truly, I didn't see Harry on at the camp. I didn't. And Victor, I think maybe once or twice. I
was there once.
Yeah. So it was like, we kind of filmed in sequence mostly. So it truly was like seeing your family kind of killed off. Oh, bye. Oh, goodbye. One by one. But, and then it got down to the nitty gritty with Betsy, and Sean Cunningham was really pretty smart about it. He kind of kept us apart because he had the feeling that we'd bond if he didn't. And after the fact, when we reunited all of us at the conventions, how many thousands of years later, he was right. She came very close, all of us. So,
wow.
But now, being Sean Cunningham, I'm directing this over to Harry. Harry, what do you think?
Well, I have a question, and my question actually is to Victor, and I'm trying to remember, because one thing I remember with you, Victor, is having dinner on 10th Avenue at a little restaurant.
Yes.
After like an assembly rough cut screening.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Was it
I
Jay
do.
Napoleon?
That was the first time. Say that again.
Napoleon. I'm not kidding. I went there too with Sean once, and Steve, I think. Was that their
yeah. It was on 10th Avenue, and there was a screening room was across the street, a little small place. It was on the second floor or something. Anyway, what I remember, of course, I remember having dinner with you and going like, this guy doesn't look like somebody who would have done this. But because you were back in your early. Was it Yale or Harvard or I forget what school you went to? Some smart ass school where they had smart people. But I remember being at the screening and being cornered by someone who they told me was one of the producers, and I just remember being cornered after watching this movie, and there were three guys sort of like standing around, and this guy looked at me, and he said, "You think you could make this movie scary?"
That's amazing.
And I said, it seemed pretty scary to me. I have never seen a movie like that in my entire life. I don't go to a lot of horror films, and I didn't, pick the ones that were out, recent from there, like Carrie or Halloween or anything like that. I never saw any. I didn't go to those movies. So I'm sitting there just going like, oh my, holy smoke. Yeah, it was every one of them was like, oh my God, oh, whoa. And so then this guy came up and said, do you think you can make this movie scary? And I'm kind of like, you did? I think it was pretty scary. So that was my first feeling about this lifestyle that we're all living still.
Right.
My favorite moment was watching Tom Savini and his assistant come out from underneath the bed after blowing sheep's blood up through the arrow.
Oh, after when Kevin Bacon died.
Dies.
And they were covered in blood. And Sean said, "What happened?" And he said, "Well, when we started to hit the bulb to blow the blood up through the arrow, the clamp let go, and so I had to blow the blood up through the arrow." And that's called taking one for the team in a low-budget movie.
Right.
And,
That's the beauty
and everybody
of
applauded
film.
because there was no way they were going to be able to reset that and start again.
Not to mention, I don't think we had any film left. I mean, shooting on back in the day, so every frame counted. So you can do anything.
What is this film stuff you're talking about? I don't remember ever hearing anything about
For your time, right, Harry?
Yeah, it was before my time.
Before digital.
All I know about is SD cards. That's it.
Right.
No, I was in the cabin that day. Also, we all squeezed in there to watch that moment when Tommy and Tasso were under the bed doing their thing. Or you're right, that was an incredible day, Victor.
Yeah. No, I will never forget that one. That was, and
that
then,
was pretty.
Then finally seeing it on screen, it was just absolutely magnificent, and it was all because those guys said, "Well, we can't do it again, so let's stick your mouth on that tube and blow."
Right.
That's so true about everything. Like I said, the perfect storm.
Yeah.
I truly believe the fact that we didn't have a lot of money is what created all of the brilliance and the creativity. You get creative when you have no money, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the fact that everybody knew that it was either now or never, it kind of made it happen.
Yeah.
That you just knew. I mean, there's a scene. Most of my takes were first takes because, like I said, we didn't have money for extra film.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where I actually do myself in as a character, where Alice, the body of Brenda, flies through the glass, and then that was Tommy, bundled up as Brenda, and I have a raincoat on when that scene starts, and it gets stuck as part of the whole reaction to her coming in and my, being so horrified that my raincoat actually got caught on that the stove, I think it was, and for the rest of the movie I was without a raincoat because we were not going to do that over. Sean said, "That's good, great, gun, move on."
Oh, that's funny.
Well,
so for the rest of the movie, no raincoat.
Oh man.
The only other famous favorite moments are when Sean and I went to interview Betsy Palmer, who we are channeling right now, at her home in Westport or wherever it was, on the water. She greeted me at the door as actors will do, and she said, "Oh, I loved your screenplay. It's just so grand guignol." Fortunately, I had a master's in theater, so I knew what that was. And then to see her in the what you call it, the comment section, I guess, in the Warner Brothers version for European distribution, where she says, "I read the script and it was such a piece of shit, but I needed a new car,
Right?
because my car broke down on the Connecticut Thruway."
Oh, that's so funny.
And I afterwards I said to her, I said, "You actors will say anything to get a fucking role, won't you?"
Right.
And she said, "Oh yeah."
Oh, right. Well, you do remember, I'm sure, Victor, when we were in Lexington and all of us were like up there for some extra on a DVD that was going to be released set.
Right. Yep.
And she actually said those words out loud, and I was like, again, horrified. It upset me. And I gave her a jab in the ribs, and she goes, "Come on, honey. Ready?"
Get real.
Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
But you have to remember. You have to remember. She got a Volkswagen Scirocco, which was like a really cool car in those days.
Right. I remember she said,
Which I think translates into hot wind. I'm not sure. Isn't that a hot wind, Victor?
Well,
Scirocco?
I just remember that before before she was enlisted, it was supposed to be Estelle Parsons.
Right.
And then,
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then Estelle, there was some sort of scheduling problem so that she couldn't do it. So Sean said, "We got to hurry up and find Mrs. Voorhees." And so he said, "Come on with me, and we'll go interview Betsy Palmer. She's interested." So off we went and went to see her. And I think that was.
I think
magic.
Betsy Palmer was such a magical choice because her persona was so not Mrs. Voorhees. I mean, these two guys we're talking to are too young to remember, but they don't remember Betsy Palmer, what she was on television. No, we do. Well, we do, but they don't. You know?
I remember her and Mr. Roberts as a nurse.
Right.
Coming aboard the ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
beautiful.
I loved the way she talked about screwing her way through most of the leading men in Hollywood.
Oh yeah. She actually, my 13-year-old niece and I, were invited to dinner at her beautiful brownstone off of Central Park. And I brought some of my Survivor Syrah, Harry, and she loved her red wine, didn't she?
Oh, yeah.
As we all do. And as the dinner was going and the wine was flowing, Betsy started to regale in front of my 13-year-old niece her exploits, specifically with James Dean. And I went,
Wow.
Betsy, she's only 13. And she responds, honey, if she doesn't know it now, she's going to learn it pretty soon.
Wow.
As soon as I finish this bottle.
Right?
No, that's the motto right there.
Oh, no. Yeah. She did finally come to embrace Mrs. Voorhees, but we know she had a rough time when it first came out.
Yeah, well, and remember, what was it, Gene Shalit who said that Sean and I should be sent to prison for the movie?
Oh, yes, and didn't he give away her name and address or phone number? And oh my gosh, yeah, times were different then.
Gene, and what's Gene Shalit doing right now?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll bet you he's not on a phone doing a podcast.
That's right. He's definitely not on this one right here.
Yeah.
This
He's
podcast.
dead, isn't he?
Well, besides that,
We'd get him.
Well, we can.
I hated
channeling him.
Yeah, let's just channel him.
I'm not channeling him, but I remember when I lived back east. You know, he was on the radio or on the television all the time. You know, with his stupid movie reviews. You know, and his mustache and his hair and the whole thing. And you know, and here's 600 people's lives who dedicated 2 years of their lives to making some movie, and this clown comes out in 4 minutes, if they gave him 4 minutes, and goes like, "Oh, this is a crappy movie. Thanks, you. Back to you, Chuck." You know.
Yeah.
And then and I go like, "Oh wow, you're really brilliant." I mean, at least Roger Ebert wrote an article or something, or said something. But
yeah, like
I mean, I just hated Gene Shalit. I hated him.
I thought he actually helped us.
Well, of course he helps because he hated it so much. Everybody goes like, "Well, we've got to see this."
Yeah.
Well,
how bad could it be?
If these people should go to prison for this movie, I'm going to go see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Before they're sent away.
And it lasted all summer in New York, you know, and the lines didn't stop, which is so, things like that don't happen these days. They yank it after, a couple of weeks or something.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry I said bad shit about Gene Shalit. He's a nice guy. He's a wonderful man.
I guess he's all right.
If he's in heaven, in the actors' area of heaven, then he and
they have subgenres.
Are chatting.
Well,
They're chatting right now.
That's right.
Good. Yeah.
Maybe they're looking down fondly and going,
maybe he's doing a blog in yet an alternate universe.
That's what everything's been reduced to.
Yes, ma'am.
Now that you brought up, Estelle Parsons, and I realized you would be the person, and they still ask this, and it's even on IMDb, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I have this opportunity to ask you.
All right.
Was there ever a moment where Sally Fields was considered to play Alice? I mean, come on.
That'd have been amazing.
I don't remember that. I certainly have no memory of that. But then I'm 77 now, and I can't remember most people's names. But I don't think Sally Fields.
I don't think so either. I couldn't imagine Sally Fields even thinking about it. And
not with that budget either.
Didn't she have some good?
No, not on that budget.
Exactly right.
Laugh her way all the way to her credit rating.
That would have been a big turn for the Flying Nun. But I figured I'd had the opportunity to finally ask you.
I think W.C. Fields was actually interviewed for one of the parts.
More likely.
He'd rather be in Philadelphia.
Right. Well, and he was at the time. Yeah.
So I do a lot of, like, I just got back from filming on location, and I film on location constantly. What was the weather like? Like, what time of year did you guys shoot the movie? And what was the weather like?
We started the day after Labor Day.
Oh.
So it was beautiful for the first couple of weeks. It was, as we all know, Camp Novi Bosco in Blairstown, New Jersey, of course.
Yeah.
When we first got there, we thought that was an Indian name, Novi Bosco, but it turned out to be a North Bergen Boy Scouts.
Okay.
And then the weather got colder and colder and colder. And, of course, it took us 3 separate times to do the final scene where Jason's as a child on screen.
With R.A. Lehman, yeah.
Pops out of the canoe. And by the time we finally did the last one, it was, I'm guessing, the middle of October. I have it in my little diary or journal from there, but it's probably the second week of October. And in New Jersey, it was getting cold, and you can see the leaves are all turning color.
I remember they had to pull, in one shot, if I remember Sean telling me that they had to pull one of the tree branches out of the back of the shot because it had turned so brown.
Absolutely. And you'll notice, like, it's supposed to be, summer, spring, getting ready for camp, and it's definitely fall colors. But again, low budget. We had no money for wetsuits or anything like that.
Geez, yeah.
We had one change of clothing, and of course, no stunt people. So that scene was chilly for Tommy and Sean and Ari and me and anybody else who was standing in the water. So well worth it, though, looking back, man.
Yep.
It's such an amazing moment in the movie.
One of the best scares in cinematic history.
I agree. It's definitely you're. See, that's the thing, is that this Friday the 13th is such a good example of what true independent filmmaking is.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And everything you guys have talked about today is just like, it kind of like we like, me and Michael are both in the independent filmmaking business too. So like we have like our own set of like war stories and everything. So it's cool to hear like your guys' war stories, which is it's absolutely amazing.
Well, I was busy working on spec on all kinds of other things because I had no money.
Were you already on All My Children writing for All My Children?
No, I didn't get that till 81 or 82.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had children, Adrienne.
All my children.
all your children.
My first job after Friday the 13th was One Life to Live.
Oh, wow.
Asa and Bo.
So which shows did you win your Emmys for then, Victor?
I got 3 Emmys for All My Children because that's the one I really loved to do. It was the only one that had a sense of humor.
Which is important.
It did indeed. Do you know, here's a really tricky thing, Victor, and I don't think you even know this, and if you do, maybe. I was actually on All My Children. I screen tested for it in 1984. And I got the screen test. This was, and just in a quick note, this was after I had the serious stalker problem when the film came out, and then I ran off to London, and Rodis, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, took me in, and I did say Shakespeare with them, and thought all was better, and came back, and my agent sent me up to this screen test for All My Children, and I'm trying to remember the role. I'll think of it in a second. Dr. Hoberman. Did you write Dr. Hoberman? Because I was Dr. Hoberman for a very short amount of time because I was in the wings and had my first anxiety attack while I was acting ever, because acting was just part of my world since I was a kid. And that's when I knew I was doomed to voiceover. Well, not doomed. Voiceover. That's not a saying it. I was off on camera for quite a while until I found decent therapy. Let's put it that way. But that's what changed my whole career and thinking in terms of acting. I went into voiceovers for 20 years, which really was my savior. because I was able to still keep a pinky in the game and still, and go and play on films like Titanic or, Gilbert Grape or whatever, doing wonderful things. But yeah, I was actually Dr. Hoberman, and I had big red glasses, and they tried to make me older looking, which was pretty funny when I think back to it.
Well, we're honored to have two doctors on the podcast. Thank you.
So,
what
did
news?
you remember writing any character of that name?
Well, it certainly sounds very familiar because I knew somebody named Hoberman, and I was always using somebody's name.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
I probably
So our paths crossed very, very briefly.
yes, ships in the night.
Absolutely.
On paper. You crossed on paper.
Yes.
Seriously. Yeah.
Well, I have one of the things I think is important is helping younger filmmakers always establish themselves. So I don't know if you guys get this often, but being an actress and a composer and a writer, like, do you guys get the opportunity to give advice often to other filmmakers that are like in the wings behind you, taking, I'd love it if you guys would just give some advice on like what people...
I want to comment on Harry.
Oh, please do.
Because
I want to comment on Victor.
I want to comment on Victor too.
Well,
Please. Okay, you guys go ahead. Good.
I remember Harry at one of the conventions, sitting with this kid for about 30 minutes, going over his score, not Harry's score, but the kid's score for something, and I was so impressed. He was just helping this kid incredibly, and I was knocked away because it was just such a loving act. I, on the other hand, I have a standing offer to people on the internet that if they want to send me their screenplays, I will note it for free because
that's awesome.
I don't like those guys who say, I'll read your screenplay for $375 or something like that. I just think that's crappy. But the pension from the Writers Guild and all those years, 25 years in soap opera, have not left me without funds.
Yes.
And so I don't need their $375 to read their screenplay, and I really enjoy it. It's fun, and now that I've got this down the street here in Alameda, California, there are two brothers who are writing a horror movie, and they're about a block and a half away from my house. I just saw the father this morning, and I said, "What the hell? Who are these kids that are writing me?" And he said, "Well, one's 14 and one's 17." And he said, and in their room, they've got all these things pasted on the wall and the windows and everywhere else, all these scenes for their horror movie. And I said, well, I'm trying to help them. So it's great fun, and I really do enjoy it. I learned a few things. I mean, 25 years in soap opera, I got more education in craft than I'd ever had with my lovely masters in theater. I can read plays that have already been produced.
Nice.
And Victor, that's seriously what keeps us all young is, I think, giving back. I too am blessed with being in a place and of just not having to worry about funds, and it allows you to be magnanimous. And of course, I'm always looking for a good script, and I have to say that I found a young writer named Alex Mattingly, and again, this crosses over to Harry Manfredini, the wonderful maestro. He met this director who was with me at Monsterpalooza because he went through the channels of getting the script to my agent. My agent sends it to me. Otherwise, I have hundreds of scripts, and I can't do what you can do. I just can read them and know if they're going to work for me or not. Yeah. And so this was a 7-minute short that just really, what got me to begin with is they were shooting it on 16 millimeter. Then they went through SAG to go low budget SAG for me. So I was very impressed with how they put it together so professionally. I forgot to mention the writer is 23 and so is the director, and they already have a couple of films under their belt.
Wow.
Great.
And I was so impressed with what I saw that I sent it to Harry and said, "This is the kid that was sitting next to us at Monstapalooza, the director," and it blew my mind what came back. And Harry wrote back to me, "Whoa!" And sure enough, he did the music for it.
Oh, wow.
And we now have this 7-minute short that's actually going to premiere at the Idaho Horror Film Festival. Are you airing this on Friday the 13th in October?
Yes.
Yes, that's when it's going to come out.
So I am in Idaho today, in Boise, Idaho, and I am so proud to represent this little film called Admonition, but I believe they're changing the title to Hear Me.
Okay.
Hear Me. Because no one knows what admonition means.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Especially with this generation, yeah.
I mean, people think it's ammunition or what, or have to Google the word. So there's, I think they're changing it to Hear Me. But the point is, no money. They had no money.
Yeah.
I did this because it really excited me as an actress. I'm always looking to help young independent filmmakers to get to the next rung, because that's what I'm able to do, right? I'm in that position that I can give a leg up to somebody who has the talent, who has the passion. And that's what is missing out of so many films today. So when you actually read a good script, you're like, yes, let me help you. Let me help you get this to the next place that we can, if I can help you do that. So I think the three of us feel very similar in that respect.
Yeah, I think, let me just chime in. Thank you, Victor and Adrienne, for that. But, it's funny because, first of all, you get very little chance to actually sit and talk with composers. So it's always, I'm ready to go the distance with them, because I especially, this kid had a lot of talent. I remember this conversation. And I do it a lot. I mentor a few young composers who send me stuff. But I'm not in a situation where I don't need the money. So I'll be happy to read any script for $375. So anyway, but I do read a lot of scripts, as a couple of you already know.
I've been.
And I read.
You've read a few of mine.
Michael's as well. So, but I read a lot of scripts, and I like doing that. I really do. And I didn't know you could get $375 for it. Holy crap! I gotta put on my reading glasses right now and knock off about that.
Does this mean I'm getting an invoice?
Anyway, no, we all do this. We all do this because I will bet that somewhere along the line, each one of us, I could list a whole bunch of people who took me under their wing and said, "Hey, do this or do that." And I'm sure Adrienne and I'm sure Victor the same thing. So you do it. You're always giving back. I mean, when I saw the little movie that Adrienne was in, I'm kind of like, "Holy crap! This guy makes a good movie, and he tells a story visually." And it was wide open for music, right? I don't know how much.
Oh, and I have to tell you, the music is fabulous, Harry. It
was easy because there was no dialogue. There was almost no dialogue. There was very little dialogue. I mean, you have 95% of the dialogue, right?
Yeah, and that was like 3 lines, wasn't it?
Well, 3 or 4 lines. I mean, but it was all visual.
But I had sign language. I seriously did.
You signed. Yeah, she signed. That's right. She signed because the character it's your daughter who is deaf, and that's where the Hear Me comes in.
Right.
So they're signing back and forth. So they're saying stuff, but they're not saying it.
It was pretty cool. It was just very.
It was very, very cool. Very, very cool movie, and tight, very tight.
Yeah.
Which I really like too.
And you're searching as I am always searching for a diamond in the rough because I love to act still. But
that kid is a talent. He's a talent.
Oh,
he's going to do something.
I swept them up. I'm his fairy godmother. It's like, So
Yeah,
talented.
he's gonna do something. Yeah.
Oh, you know it. So I just got the script in actually yesterday for the full-length feature. So we'll see what happens with the short.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
PS 375. I'll be happy to read it.
Well, how about a case of Crystal Lake wines?
In that case, I'll read it 3 times.
I must say, the Friday the 13th is the gift that keeps on giving. You know, who
It sure is.
it, you know, of all the things to have actually spawned its own wines. That is now. We're celebrating our 7th harvest.
Congratulations.
This season, and I have a new one coming out that I have to plug.
Please
it's
do.
called Campfire. And it's a Pinot Noir. I nailed from the Valley View Winery, my winemaker there, this beautiful Pinot Noir. And I do the labels, and I paint the labels, and I sign each and every bottle, and it's just an amazing thing. It really is. And so I thank you, Victor. I thank you, Harry.
Well,
You're welcome.
I'm sorry I stopped drinking in 1989.
I know. That's why you haven't gotten a case of wine.
There.
Well,
yes.
me and Michael always, and whenever we do podcasts, we always drink. We currently are having.
I'm having a glass
some
of
fine
wine right
beverage.
now.
Yeah, we're drinking
Oh,
right now.
great.
So I'll definitely I'll have a glass for you, Victor. Don't worry.
What kind?
Thank you.
I'm having lemon water. I don't know.
I drink white wine. That's my favorite.
I'm smoking a cigar in my backyard.
So
with
he's
my,
perfect.
Oh man, this
one
is
of my terriers between my legs.
that's awesome.
my-
See, this is great.
Why drink
You're
white
very
wine?
Cute.
What is-
Adorable terriers.
Yes.
We love our doggies.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
Well, I drink white wine.
No, Adrienne's wine is quite good. I tell Adrienne this story, and it's true. There's a bunch of us who just get around every once in a while, and we have like a wine tasting thing, and everybody brings a bottle of wine blind. You go out and get a bottle of wine, and so for laughs, I brought Adrienne's Survivor Syrah to the. I think it was a Survivor Syrah.
Right.
I brought it, and I didn't tell anybody what it is. I just closed it up. And these people were bringing some serious wine. I mean,
So do they all have like paper bags on them or something?
everything has a paper bag on it. They're just number
Oh my
6.
God, I love
try
that.
that. And so no one knows what anything is. So I mean, and you were up against some majorly expensive wines, and we came in second, and everybody went, "It's Friday the 13th wine? What the hell is that?" They're going like, "Hey, it came in second. Get out of here."
Really? Well, I wouldn't put my name on anything unless it was fabulous.
That's
And
right.
I won a what do they call it? Like a fancy wine cork thing with it. So it was a pretty good deal. And I got to drink the wine too.
You mean a
which was even better.
corkscrew?
Man, that's
No.
an
You know,
amazing
like
gift.
they have like little decorated things, like you put it in your wine and keep it, close it up to recork it.
Oh, like a cork, yeah.
Recork wine?
I know. I don't get it either, Victor. I don't get it
What the hell
either.
is that? I don't know.
That's why
Man,
I had
I've
to stop
never
drinking.
Hey, who needs a cork? Just finish the bottle.
I usually stop when it's empty. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but no, like after sometimes when you open it, you want to just cover it back up.
every bottle you open, you finish.
Yeah.
I get you, Harry. No.
Now we're into a topic. It's Friday the
Hey, that's
13th.
Wait a minute. Now-
Let's get into some wine.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
welcome to
Having
WSMG
a
podcast.
interview smooth. Have some
It's a shame you don't smoke cigars, Adrienne, because we could really go.
Yes. Harry and I, whenever we've been together, have been the cigar connoisseurs.
Kind of sewers.
Yeah, kind of sores.
If I'm not mistaken, I think, Harry, you and Betsy once shared a cigar.
Well, I've shared many things with Beth.
Oh God. I have a mental picture I don't want.
No, that's
Oh no! She was. Oh my God! I love that woman. She was so cool. She was so cool.
She was the best. I love
I've never enjoyed a
You-
so much.
Did you? I mean, there was one of my favorite stories is in Chicago, and I think you were there,
I was.
Betsy. It was like 46 below or something. And I was up to like, we were up to like 4 o'clock in the morning in this hotel. We ordered pizzas at 4 o'clock in the morning, and because it was just crazy. Anyway, and Betsy was going, "Oh, how are things going? I'll have some pizza." Anyway, at 9 o'clock, we come down to start the table at this convention, and the only two people are there are Betsy and me. And she looks and she goes, "Where are all these people? This is very unprofessional." And I can barely see straight. I'm half asleep. But she's like, "No, it says 9 o'clock. We should be here at 9." I'm going, "I don't know how you're doing it, man."
And I remember it was a Sunday morning, and when I got there at 11 or whatever it was,
Yeah.
I said, "Betsy, you notice there's nobody here waiting online because they were all partying last night too." And she goes, "Well, I don't care. I'm here."
I'm here at 9 o'clock. This is it. We're supposed to be here.
Yep, you got a call sheet.
Yep.
Yep, constant professional. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we've lost Michael and his friend.
No, you guys are great. We're sitting here listening.
We've lost Michael and his friend.
No, we're here.
Halloween.
We've just been like marveling and like just listening.
You guys have the best rapport. It's
yeah,
amazing.
seriously, you guys are kind of telling the story already. So we're just like, let's have a conversation. You guys are handling it.
But we do have a question. So,
All right.
seeing in the vein of this being Friday the 13th, are any of you guys superstitious? By chance?
Nah.
Nah.
Well, I know you're not, Victor. Victor and I talk a lot because we become good friends,
And we wrote a screenplay together.
and we did write a screenplay together. And I would love it.
Expensive. It was too expensive to make, but it was a great screenplay.
I know. Well, give me time.
yeah.
I still think I think it's gonna happen. I'm positive that we're gonna get this movie out in the world.
May it be so.
Is there a part for a mature counselor?
Oh, you could be a nurse.
Oh.
It's a horrible hospital. It's wonderful.
Yeah, perfect.
Ooh, let me read it, guys. I'll help.
All right, we'll send it to you this week.
All right.
And Harry's
You could be Nurse Hoberman.
We'll change the name.
Promoted from a doctor to a nurse. I'll take it though.
But then you could get your like own prequel.
Yeah.
You get like the little side sequel.
I love it. Let's all work together again.
All right. Well, Victor, we have our work cut out. We have a whole another storyline to work on now. A whole other script.
So you guys better get busy.
Well, actually, Victor's one of the best people I ever write with because sitting in the vein of helping. I mean, not that I'm not young, but I'm not old. It was one of the best experiences I've had was working and writing a script with Victor because he's so knowledgeable, and he taught me so much. So I don't know if I've ever told you, but I wanted to say thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. I love it. Because of the soap opera business, where it's 5 or 6 people at a table shooting ideas out, and it doesn't work for people who are serious playwrights because they like their own words, and but you have to. So I've written a screenplay with Harry, and
Nice.
let's see, wait a minute. I wrote a screenplay with Michael and his friend.
Yes.
And we did it on Skype. And Skype is wonderful.
Yeah.
You sit there and you trade ideas back and forth, and you say, okay, you guys write the scene from here to there, and I'll write the scene from there to there, and then you guys finish that.
Yeah.
And it works. And then I also wrote a screenplay with Peter Fonda. And,
That's right. Yes.
A childhood friend of mine.
That's
And we're
awesome.
trying to shop that around, and I do my best work on Skype because I like somebody else's ideas, and the stuff just gets better and better.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. A real collaboration.
Yeah. Thanks. And,
Well, it was. I mean, it was an honor when you said you wanted to write with me. I was like, no, what? Like, yeah, it was something I was never expecting. And I remember when I was growing up, my cousin was such a huge fan of Friday the 13th, and it was always hard for me to watch him because it scared me so much.
Yep.
And so years later, when I launched my film festival and we met and we did the 30-year reunion of Friday the 13th, he was laughing at me because he's like, I can't believe all these years it was my favorite, horror film and you didn't like it, and now you're writing a screenplay with the guy who wrote it. And I was like, well, that's life for you. But I had such a great time working with you.
My favorite moment in I don't really like the horror convention so much because I got to fly there.
Of course.
Otherwise it would be. Otherwise.
Oh,
it'd
I
be fun.
know.
It's just awful.
Travel's worse.
In San Antonio, this mother came up with these 3 children, all under 12. And she said, oh, so pleased to meet you. My kids have seen all of Friday the 13th. And I said, I'm calling Child Protective Services on you. It is amazing what a 7-year-old child will watch these days and think it's great.
Yeah.
Some of them, they laugh. They laugh.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's the desensitizing, I think, from video games.
I think Betsy DeVos is going to take Friday the 13th and make it required.
She probably will.
What do you all think of the video game? Has anyone played
Harry
it?
worked on it.
Harry knows. Harry's all about it.
Well, I do nothing but think about it all day. I have to write 12 more minutes of it.
Oh, nice.
This weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my Lord. It's doing well, though, isn't it?
I think so. The video game really, it itself isn't like out in the markets. It was only available as a download before. But oddly enough, on October 13th, which oddly enough is a Friday, that's when the
today, I think.
Yeah, that's when this is going to be released. So yeah,
it's today.
It's going to be the actual where you could go to a Walmart or somewhere and buy it.
Oh, nice.
Is October 13th. But there's a ton of music yet to be written, and a ton of they're working on it like 24/7. I mean, it's
awesome.
crazy. So, but evidently it's going to be a lot of fun. Evidently, the game itself evidently is a lot of fun. What they're releasing on October 13th is called the single player version, where you don't play with 7 other people.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But what's interesting is that a lot of people have all of these friendships and people who got to know each other were 7 people who were playing the game, because you can talk to the other people who are playing while you're playing it, even though you don't know who they are.
Yeah,
that's fun.
And so you can work together, to try to win or whatever you do. I'm not a game player. I don't really quite understand it, but I just keep cranking out music, and I'm guessing like 12 to 20 minutes a week for the next 6 weeks. And,
good for you, man. That's awesome.
The one thing
should be there.
about the game, Harry, that's wonderful is since we haven't had a sequel since 2009 in our little franchise, Friday the 13th, it's keeping us just in the public's eye until Victor has a good season and the right decision by the courts to make this puppy come back to home. Come back.
Well, I mean,
come back, Sheba.
Sheba, come back, old Sheba. Whatever happened to Sheba?
I don't think she came back home. So
no, but I mean, it is, and it's keeping things alive. And I think somewhere down the pike, there will be another movie. I'm sure. It's
one way or the other.
It's a cash cow. You can't stop those cash cows.
No, but I hope. I pray that the sequel is something that.
Well, it's not stupid. I pray that the sequel is not stupid.
Fans have been so patient. This is my feeling. They deserve a real sequel, not just something for the box office, right?
Agreed. Yes.
And
I think plot and character would be a good.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Back to basics, eh?
Oh yeah, what the hell?
I mean, it'd be kind of cool to do a prequel, maybe,
Harry knows this, but Victor may not, and I'm pretty sure Michael and Richard don't. I got the last version of the script because I was in the running for Mrs. Voorhees, and Betsy had given me her blessings before she passed in one of her finer moments. Hey, if anyone could pull it off, you could pull it off. and when I tell you that the script, the fans would have hated it. I was never so relieved because the funny thing is I made it through the casting process, and my agent actually had to say to the casting people, they said, well, we're sending it over to Paramount now to the big guys. They have the final casting decision. And we want you to know right now they need a name. And Marilyn, my agent for over, 35 years now, who's been very patient with my on-screen career, said, if you want to see, what matters to the fans and an A-list to horror fans, then just go to the conventions. That's where you find out who's your A-lister. And I said, Marilyn, I'm never going to get it. Don't worry about it. And then I read the script and I went, you know what? If it happens, fine. If it doesn't happen, it's probably the best thing. And it didn't happen, and I'm so relieved because piece of shit does not say enough about it. But
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the one that Paramount passed on?
No, what happened? Well, yes and no. They didn't pass on it. They were nurturing it, and they were all ready. They literally had the camp in Atlanta all ready to go, and it was up. I think it's when the remake of The Ring came out in January.
Yeah.
They said no more. Close it down. It died. So. They got scared. That's the story we got. I don't know the real story.
I don't get any stories. All I get is occasionally a fan will say something.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. And people ask me questions like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I don't own it.
Yeah. So, but I know the fans, and we have a vested interest in the next sequel. Needless to say, we hope it comes back to Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice.
Well, light a candle.
Yeah, I will.
See what happens.
Light another candle. I love that.
Well, it's October. It's Friday the 13th right now as we're speaking, supposedly, and so
Everybody light a candle.
everyone light a candle. Now's the time.
Oh, it is. Oh, wait a minute. It is Friday the 13th. That's when you're showing us?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Friday the 13th right now as we're
Oh,
speaking.
well, by the way, the game came out today. It's fantastic.
So go buy the game.
It's amazing. I mean, it was so easy. I had no problem. It's really great.
And you finished it ahead of time.
And I finished it ahead of time. I didn't know. I feel so much better now.
What a relief.
So,
I'm going to read a couple of scripts for $375.
So for all the people out there, all the people that want to send scripts to Harry, go ahead and send them, and 375 is the minimum.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Or I don't know, save money.
Pages.
Save money and send them to Victor.
PayPal account, Harry.
Right.
Or you can save money and send everything to to Victor.
Right. Just save it.
Thank you again for joining us and talking with us, regarding, the amazing legacy that you guys have created. We're honored to have you guys on the show, and thank you again for being here with us.
This was like the funnest hour I've ever had.
Are they saying goodbye, Harry?
Well, we have to wrap it
I
up.
don't know.
It's been an hour, and we
Hey,
want.
when do I get to see y'all again? What's going on? This is about
I'm laying low.
somewhere, or maybe I should say,
Let's
when
do a
will
live
be
show.
the last time I
Yeah.
saw you, since this will actually be in October?
Well, I'm at the Idaho Horror Film Festival. I'm the host this year.
great.
And
Ooh.
Never say.
if you're in
Adrienne,
Boise, come on over today.
You just said Idaho. I don't know if you want to be saying that.
Idaho.
That's a little personal.
Idaho.
That's a little personal.
Idaho. Yes. So,
But no, all right. So you're in Idaho on Friday the 13th. Is that what
Idaho
you're
Horror
saying?
Film Festival premiering Hear Me, and then we play Friday the 13th. Remember that little movie? We're playing.
And where are you the week after that? Where are you next week?
Oh, my hope.
No,
At
no.
the Lake Winery.
Oh no, but I don't mean next week. Next week, I mean October 20th.
I don't know. Where are you? Where are you?
I'm so confused.
I'm in San Antonio.
Oh, nice.
I'm in San Antonio, and I understand it's dry there, and there's something called a river walk or something.
I think I have a doctor's appointment that day.
Right.
My husband's calling me on his cell phone.
God.
Oh my Lord!
I think this is
Yeah,
a good. This is a good.
You completely blew my mind that I didn't realize this what we're saying right now isn't going to be said for 3 months.
I think it'd be
So by now, I actually have that campfire Pinot Noir available if anybody wants to order. ChristianLakeWines.com.
perfect.
Heck yeah. We
I'm
always
definitely going to order that.
Oh, and I've already had 2 bottles, and it's fantastic.
You've always been a fine wine audience.
Oh, listen, I'm a
Well, we're
Fine
gonna
audience.
we're definitely gonna buy some so that way we can
Definitely
drink it
can't wait to try
during the
this.
podcast.
Oh, it's the only way.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule of making
Hope
games
to see
and
you
movies.
all soon, Victor. It's been long. Hope to see you soon. And Harry,
Right. Ciao bella, ciao tutti.
ciao Bella. And we'll be sending this full script to Victor of Admonition, or AKA Hear Me. And so hopefully this time next year, we'll be seeing more of it.
Alla prossima volta.
Okay. You guys are wonderful.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Happy Friday the 13th.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you guys. All right. So long.
Ciao for now.
All right.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you
Bye.
guys. Bye-bye.
Until next time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of When Straight Meets Gay, our Friday the 13th reunion. And I want to say thank you to Adrienne King, Victor Miller, and Harry Manfredini.
I'm speechless.
They're amazing.
I mean, the thing is that, like usually you can't get us to shut up.
I know.
And today it was like, let's shut up.
yeah, let's just shut up and let them
just
talk.
Shut up and let these beautiful people talk. And that was like one of the best podcasts I've ever done.
And they're truly amazing, and they're inspiring us even to this day. And
It makes me want to record more podcasts once we stop this one.
and we miss you, Trey. We love you. And
Nah, that's
sorry.
not true, dude. He doesn't miss you, bro. He hasn't mentioned you once.
Wait.
dude.
Hey, write us and let us know if you want Trey still on the show.
Yeah, how about everybody, just all the fans, just DM us. Don't send nudes to, definitely not to that guy.
No.
Don't send them. Maybe to Cologne over here, right?
I don't
But
know.
either way, thank you guys for listening. This has been the Friday the 13th episode. Spooky.
And we want to wish you a happy Halloween.
Yes, and watch some scary movies out there. Right now, I guess technically it's October 13th, so it's been out for a while. I'm sure there's going to be some other stuff out. Make sure you go and support some horror movies. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Universal right now has horror nights going on.
Yeah.
And then Not Scary Farm, which is amazing. I go every year.
And the
That
Queen
is
Mary.
happening.
Yeah.
Queen Mary, Dark Harbor. Excuse
Oh,
me.
nice.
And I'm trying to go for a good pitch. Good night, everybody.
Anyways,
Happy Friday the 13th.
Happy Friday the 13th. WSMGpodcast.com. And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter.
That's true. What he said.
All right. Take care, y'all.
And hold on. Trey wants to say something. Bye, y'all.
You did a good job. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.